Live from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studios in the great state of New Hampshire and the Gurkha Cigar Studios in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Welcome to the Smokin Tobacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Kevin Acuff.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tobacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTobacco.com, and I am once again broadcasting from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studios, but as of a few weeks ago, from the great state of New Hampshire. That's right. And from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, from the Gurkha Cigar Studios, it's Kevin Acuff. And tonight...
What's happening?
Tonight, we don't have a guest. And we wanted to have a little more fun. You know, we've been doing Cigar of the Year stuff. We've been doing the awards. We have a... Kevin, I know you won't be on Spare Notes this weekend, but we have a pretty long show planned for Saturday night with Coop. And I think Mitchell's going to be in there to fill in for you. So we figured, hey, let's have some fun this week. And we're going to talk about some rum. We got some cocktails. We got rum with us. I have a couple of kinds of rum. I know you have some stuff you're probably going to talk about. And we're going to just kind of take it easy and go from there.
I'm actually double fisting tonight. That's like a rarity for me.
Wow. Well,
but these are both these cocktails that I made. I mean, as soon as you said rum, it's like my mind jumped right to two cocktails because I'm not really. I mean, I like rum, but I'm not a big rum sipper. I mean, if I do, I like Flor de Caña 18, Flor de Caña 25, but I actually don't have any of that sitting around the house right now. So we kind of had to make do with what we had.
Yeah, I don't have any white rum. I have some spice rum. I have some dark rum, but I mostly drink spice rum. I have rums from all over the Caribbean. I have Dominican rum. I have Cuban rum. I have Guatemalan rum. I have what's that other rum that I have? Actually, what is this one? No, this one's This one's got. I have the Ronza Capo. That's Guatemala. Oh, Barbados. That's
Ronza Capo 23.
Yeah, I do have that one with me. The other one that I have is the Bamboo, which is from Barbados. Which there's nothing fancy about it. There's nothing, special about it. Like it's not like an expensive bottle. It's not hard to get or anything like that. That's what I mean by that. But it's a nice everyday affordable rum. It's got some great notes. It's got some great flavor. It's easy to drink. It's easy to mix. It's very.
There's a lot of. It's really sugary. It's a very sweet rum.
It is a very sweet rum. I find it kind of unique. The flavor profile, and kind of how well it goes with so many different things. So that's a favorite of mine. The Cuban rums are a little different. We'll get into it more, but I also have here it is. I also have a cigar with me that I'm going to smoke tonight on the show. I grabbed this because I felt for the flavor profile that I wanted and what I was going for and what I wanted in a cigar, I thought this would go well for me. So let's talk about that first, and let's get the show on the road. So our cigars tonight are once again brought to you by the number2guyscigars.com. If you head over there today, you'll find an amazing selection of cigars and cigar accessories from all over the industry. That's our spot, man. And I now live 7 minutes away from there, so it's really convenient. And I pay no taxes on cigars up here, which is really cool.
Rub it in, why don't you?
No sales tax or tobacco tax. I get MSRP out the door. Great state of New Hampshire.
Here, watch this. Right
the great state of New Hampshire. The great state of New Hampshire. Just north of the Democratic People's Republic of Massachusetts. Similar to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. This is the Soviet Socialist Republic. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts. There's a theme here. So anyway, That's what I got here. So I am smoking a Perdomo Habano Sun-Grown in the 6x60, which is an old school favorite of mine. This was like one of my favorites from my early days of smoking cigars. So,
wow, is that like one of the OGs? Like what What one is that? Is it just a regular, just plain old Perdomo Habano?
Yeah, the bourbon barrel aged Habanos.
Oh, bourbon barrel aged. Okay. You didn't say bourbon barrel aged. I'm like,
Sorry, I left that out. I know.
what
That
do you?
was-
It's like, do you have something like really old school? Like, I can't even remember the ones that what the name of it was with the old Perdomo bands on them.
Yeah,
The Grand Cru. I think that's what it was.
we need to talk about that. It's like because there's a lot of Perdomo cigars I see, like old stuff, right? That predates when I even smoked or even heard the name Perdomo, and I've always been curious about it because there's a lot of like stuff that's like not around anymore, a bit that they don't make, and I'm such anybody who knows me, and Kevin, you know this. I'm so nostalgic, and anything that's like old, I'm obsessed with it. Like I listen to old music, I watch old TV shows, I watch old movies, I'm into old trends. Like I love to read about anything historical, whether it's pop culture or it's like, the most random shit that you could think of. Anything that comes from before my time, I'm fascinated by. Like I'm literally fascinated. You could entertain me. I have ADD, so I lose my attention span quickly. But you can entertain me for hours with shit like that, and I find it fascinating. I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know why. So like, from time to time I see people post these like, hold on one second. I just have to respond to this.
Yeah, I stumbled into a box of the old Perdomos when I was in Florida on one trip, and I just smoked the last one of them like not that long ago, and it's really cool to be able to smoke 10-year-old cigars.
Yeah, I see some of these, and I don't remember a lot of them off the top of my head, but I see these like old Perdomos, and I'm like intrigued, and I'm like, oh, what? I've never seen that before. Now remember, there's a lot of old brands, that are around that they still make cigars they made, fucking 60 years ago. Perfect example. Look at half the stuff from Arturo Fuente, the Hemingway, the Don Carlos. Those have been around since before I was born. So like Perdomo, like they don't have like there's a lot of stuff that they don't make anymore, and they're kind of simplified down, to like their 10th anniversary, their 20th anniversary, now the 30th anniversary, the bourbon barrel aged, the vintage aged 12 year, the ESV comes and goes from time to time. And then they have some other like little stuff that they do, like they make the Garofalo's, they do the yellow jackets, they do stuff like that. But like there's
small batch line was outstanding too.
The small batch line, yeah, those are great. But from time to time I come across these cigars and I'm like, oh, what is that? Like, I want to try it. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, I love Perdomo. Like, in the media, we try to be as unbiased as possible. But, you have to give them credit. They've built a reputation because they make very consistent cigars. I mean, every cigar release they've ever come out with since I've been doing media it's been hard to knock it. I mean, they've done a great job. So, because of that, you get curious and you're like, like, what are these other cigars that Nick has made that I don't know, I've never had? And you get all excited, and now I'm on a tangent about it. But see, this is what happens. I'm fascinated.
You know what? It's a good tangent, because like you said, I mean, Perdomo makes very consistent cigars, and I mean, I've said, time and time again, I've said it on this show, I've said it on Spare Notes, I think I might have even written it a time or two when doing a review, as far as from a branding and marketing standpoint, I don't think anybody does it better. I mean, when you walk into a B&M that carries Perdomo, that's a Perdomo dealer, I mean, that display is impactful. It draws the eye, it creates interest, and it's attractive. It really is.
Yeah, and you have to give them a lot of credit because it's all those little details that they put so much time into. And I'll be honest with you, I've heard people make comments about them like, oh well, what's with fucking Perdomo and the suit, and it's like, well, first of all, the guy has class, okay? And I know that in today's day and age, there's a lot of people who don't know what that means, but I was raised in my house that you tried to have class or a certain degree of class, and you hold yourself and present yourself in a certain way because it's just the right thing to do. My families were very old school, and you see the guy at the show, he's got the suit on, he's He's got his whole family there. You see them walking around. They all got the shirt. Yeah, I mean, they're a good-looking family. You know, they got, you know, they have a good presentation. It's just, it's all that little stuff, and they show it in their product. You know, they represent it as a family. They put it in the product. You know, you see the shelves. It's all dressed nice, and yeah, I mean, I know there's people that disagree with me, but you can't hate on a model like that. I mean, it's professional to the core. They do a great job. They make great cigars. They're also one of the only brands that I think almost never has anything on back order, from what retailers tell me. They always, you know, Nick has always been pretty big on, like, you know, I don't want anyone to wait to give me their money. So if they're ready to give me their money, I'm ready to give them cigars. You know, we talk a lot about, production delays and delays on this and that, and those cigars are back ordered, and those cigars get held up. They don't have a lot of those issues. I'm not saying it probably never, ever, ever happens, but, you know, because
it happens.
Shit happens. Shit happens, but they seem to do a very good job of mitigating it so that it doesn't become a major. So, I mean, again, it's hard to find anything negative to say about the Perdomos.
Another real positive for me with them is they really try to curtail price increases to the consumer whenever possible. You know, that's
when S-chip tax went in, they actually lowered them. They cut out the S-chip tax.
That's one of the things that Nick really prides himself in, is offering a premium product, you know, at the price that you should pay for it, versus the inflated with the taxes and with this and with that and whatnot. He tries to really, as hard as he can, to not pass the price on to the consumer, which is another reason that it's a stand-up company and a cigar that I'm happy to smoke.
Un momento, por favor. Sorry, I just realized my cord is not plugged in. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Don't mind me. Haha.
So while you're doing that, I'm going to show what I am smoking. Since we're doing a rum pairing, I wanted to go through and find, kind of as Matt did, the cigar that I thought would pair very well with rum or rum cocktails. And I landed on the now out of production Camacho Coyollar. This has always been one of my favorite Camacho cigars. I was sad to see it get dropped. It's probably one of the most Cuban of the Camacho line. It has a lot of the properties that you would get out of a higher end Cuban cigar.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When I was thinking about, like, what do I want to smoke and what do I want to drink, I was like, I don't want to get something super mild. I don't want to get something super sweet. To me, I was like, I want to smoke something with a little bit of spice, a little bit of pepper, something like sun-grown. That was like Perdomo, sun-grown. As you and I both know, you and I are both big fans of Perdomo sun-grown cigars. Mm-hmm. As a blanket. I mean, I know that there's different blends, but I think we've had this conversation, and I've said this publicly. I mean, when it comes to sun-grown specifically cigars, there's ones I favor more than others, but now it's the 30th anniversary. But as a general rule of thumb, Perdomo sun-grown cigars have been a major favorite of mine on a personal level. So I don't know. So something stood out with that to me, and I said, I'm going to go Perdomo sun-grown, and I'm going to grab two very different kinds of rum, and I'm gonna do some shit with that. I'm gonna mix them. I'm gonna do them neat. I'm gonna play around with it. I want to taste all the aspects of this with this cigar, and just see what I like the most. And that's all this is. This show is honestly a glorified hangout session / experimentation that you guys will get to watch and listen and comment on, which is interesting. So, I can't wait. I'm excited. Oh, look at that. We got quite the audience here. We got Barbara's here. Andy's here. Bill Powers is
Andy,
here.
what's happening, buddy?
Chad to Chad is here. Mitchell's here.
My Castle Crew brothers. How you doing, guys?
Jason is here. We got a whole gang. Look at this. Hello, all. Thank you for being here. If you're here, comment along, please. Don't forget to ask as many questions as your little heart desires. We will ask them whether they are positive. I mean, answer them whether they're positive, negative, maybe in between, maybe they're a gray area. I don't care. If you have a question, the only reason I won't answer it is if it's something just too out of there, and I just don't want to create a can of worms later. But for the most part, ask away. Oh, Peter's here. Hangout session is good. That's right. Sometimes, I'll be honest with you, we needed a show like this. There's been so much shit going on the last several weeks. This was
not at all.
Nice. This was nice. This was nice. No pressure because we got a big show next week. We have a big show next week. Eddie Guerra from Davidoff will be here, which is going to be extra exciting because, for those who saw the last show, we weren't here last week. I was feeling under the weather and I had some issues I had to attend to physically, so I really wasn't feeling good. But and then the family had stomach bug over the weekend, so it was a very crappy 7 days. But we're back. But the show before 2 weeks ago, we had a crowned the Davidoff Anniversario #1 as our cigar of the year. So it'll be exciting to have Eddie with us next week and talk about that, as well as a bunch of other things about Davidoff that have been going on, and we'll get into a lot of different stuff. So looking forward to that. It'll be fun. It's his first time coming on the show. We haven't done a Davidoff show in quite some time. So
Eddie's a fun guy to talk to too. It can go sideways really quick. So be prepared for it to go off the rails.
Listen.
Especially with somebody as easy to pick on as you.
Sorry, Nicole's here. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Nicole actually brought me a little something. Oh, are those the couple of little mint leaves from your little garden?
I texted you with this.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Thanks for pointing out the gray beard, Andy. I love you, brother.
You know what's funny? I was gonna comment on this. I don't mean to call you out, but I was gonna say you're starting to look like you're a little more white than gray.
Well, I trimmed the beard down. I got rid of the
yeah, and it does.
I got rid of the biker plumage because
it's cleaned
up. Somebody compared me to a homeless guy in Fremont Street. So,
well, we can't have that.
Let
me tell you, those guys down there, they get rough.
Let it go back to its natural color, and I'm old and gray. What can I say?
Well, you know what? It could have been worse. Someone could have said that you looked like one of the mole people. So,
this is true.
That's worse than Fremont Street. I mean, Fremont Street is Fremont Street, but the mole people, that's a whole nother thing. So, I mean, at least you didn't get that.
See, now I just look old and wise.
Yeah. You're like a very young Gandalf. You even laugh like him, too. Ha 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 ha, Frodo. I know. But anyway, what I was going to say is you mentioned about Eddie, easily getting off the rails. What I think is funny is, and this, I don't think you've been on the regular show and done, oh man. I can't wait for that show this year.
Yeah, which one is that?
You know which one it is. I've done it with Nicole, I've done it with Mitchell, and I haven't done it with you yet. And if I can deal with him once a year for 2 hours, I can deal with Eddie Guerra. I'm sure Eddie Guerra is fine. If I can deal with him, I can deal with anybody. I don't care who you are. And you know what? It'll be fun to have you here with me this time. Because now it's just going to be me, you, and him, people that he knows very well. And he's just, this might get dangerous. I'm not going to lie.
I'm actually going to get to see that guy next weekend.
Oh, fuck you. I'm so jelly.
Dude, Andy Meyer is asking, what is your favorite Perdomo?
You want to go first?
I'm going to say right now, because I haven't smoked enough of the 30th to have a solid opinion at, the 12-year double-aged sun-grown is my favorite.
Oh, this recipe. Sorry, I'm reading the recipe of this drink that Nicole made for me. This is getting Ron Zacapa. This is not getting Cuban rum. No fucking
What are you
way.
making?
So, first let me answer Andy's question. I would say historically, if I had to pick one, it's a sun-grown. I'd probably go 20th. However, since the 30th came out, I've smoked a handful of them. And it's honestly, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, it might be the 30th anniversary Connecticut.
There's nothing wrong with saying that.
The first time I smoked it, it fucking rocked my world. And
I've smoked 2 of each, and it's hard. The Connecticut and the Sun Grown are my top 2, with the Maduro, and it's right there.
yeah.
But none of them are bad.
No, and that's the thing. They're all great.
Yeah,
that's why it's
just
hard.
the Connecticut and the Sun Grown play to my palate,
Yeah.
and I bounce back and forth. There's times I want the Connecticut, and that's what hits. It's mood related. It really is. It really depends on what mood you're in, or what you're drinking with it, or even what time of the day you're smoking it. Has a lot to do with it. But for me, just an all time, if you hand it to me, I'm going to love it every time, is the Sun Grown.
Sorry, I really wanted to get this a good mix.
So I hear your chemistry experiment going on there. So what are you making?
So Nicole made me this. It's called Planter's Punch, likely originating in Jamaica. This rum drink recipe was written in verse in the magazines and newspapers that published it. Here's a short and sweet version from the Kansas City Star in 1903. 1 sour, 1 of sweet, 2 of strong, and 1 of weak. Our Planter's Punch recipe calls for 2 ounces of dark rum, 2 ounces of pineapple juice, ½ ounce of fresh lime juice, and ¼ ounce of grenadine. The drink is shaken and served over crushed ice in a Collins glass, then finished off with club soda and a mint sprig or a maraschino cherry. And it looks like she did a little bit of all of that. And
Interesting.
I'll tell you, I love rum drinks, especially like a rum punch or, I love those.
I like painkillers.
Because I'm a sucker for a good fruity cocktail. As much as I drink a lot of very, very strong, gassy bourbon that most people probably couldn't even take a whiff of. I also like to get soft. I like to get fruity and, I like the spectrum.
Fruity?
I like the spectrum, dude. What do you want me to say? I can go hard or I can go light and fun. So, it's delicious sometimes to have a drink that is fun to drink and get fucked up. And then sometimes you just want to drink something that's going to smack you in the face because you just got to get there quick. So that's where I'm at. So I have this one. I did mix with the Ron Zacapa 23. This is a Guatemalan rum. It's perhaps one of my favorite rums. I found this, and I have to give credit where credit's due. I discovered this rum on a recommendation years ago from Carney, who told me, "Oh, Lido likes the Ron Zacapa 23. You should." We were out somewhere, and we were Florida or Las Vegas. I forget where we were. We were somewhere in the world, and we were at a bar or a lounge, and I was looking for a drink. I said, "I'm in the mood for rum," and he was like, "You should drink this. That's what it's one of the ones that Lido likes." And I said, "Oh," and I tried it, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? This is delicious." And I'll drink it on the rocks, just straight out of the bottle. I like to make cocktails with it. It's just another one of those rums it's very easy to.
It's really good rum, especially for the price point. Is it
Yeah,
like $60 maybe?
I think I paid $48.99 for that bottle.
Okay, so $50 for what it is, especially compared to some of the other ones that are out there that are in the same age range.
Yeah,
it's a really good deal, and it makes it's a good tasting. It's a good sipping rum, like you said, good sipping. Good on the rocks, and it makes amazing cocktails.
I'm gonna put a little more rum in there. This is
so
good.
Any guesses what this one is?
That's not the mojito.
This is not the mojito,
but it's not enough going on there.
It's constructed very similarly, though.
What is it?
This is an Old Cuban.
Oh, that's right. You did say Old Cuban you were going to do.
So this one is, it's 2 ounces of aged rum, and then 3/4 of an ounce. Shut up.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at my boy Ryan. Yeah, man, fruity drinks.
Fruity drinks.
It's an inside work joke, but he shows up and I fucking lose it, dude. Every time I'm like, damn, this is my boy Ryan. He's one of the best dudes I've ever met. He's just I can't help but laugh whenever I see him. But I'm sorry. I interrupted your. I interrupted your spiel. I interrupted. I'm sorry.
You interrupted my spiel. So
I'm sorry.
So
Go
it's
ahead.
2 ounces of aged rum, simple syrup, 6 mint leaves. You muddle all that together, shake it over ice, pour it in a rocks glass,
Right.
and then top it with a ounce and a half of brut champagne.
Oh, so good. And we talked about this.
I use Brugal 1888 rum to make
See,
this.
Teresa said the same thing. Reminds me of Gandalf. Yeah. See, great minds think alike.
Alex,
V.
See, I happen to know that's my friend Alex, not Teresa.
Oh, okay.
So basically Teresa must have gave him his balls back today and actually let him come on the internet and watch the show. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's nice to have people here.
Yes, Alex, painkillers. I fucking love painkillers. That is one of my favorite rum cocktails ever.
Muy delicioso.
And you make that with Navy rum.
Ryan Beck, don't you fucking dare go anywhere. Don't you worry about it. Anyway, I just remembered. I want to talk about something pretty cool. It's time for our cutting and lighting, brought to you by SD Dupont. Be exceptional. One of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight was a new product from SD Dupont. That's right, I got it right here. It's fancy dancy. I fucking love this lighter, and it showed up yesterday, and I used it last night. Now, we saw this lighter at the trade show. It came out at the end of last year. I think they officially shipped end of last year. So SC Dupont at the trade show had a couple of lighters that were flat flame lighters. And Kevin, I think you have one on the way. I just don't think you have yours yet. I was talking to Dupont today, and you should be getting one as well. The lighter looks like this, and without trying to fuck up my focus, I'm not going to zoom in too far. But for those of you who know Dupont, this might look similar to you. This has the same outer design as the Legrand, which is the other flip-top lighter from SC Dupont that not only has a soft flame, but if you push up on the flint roller, it becomes a single torch. So they came out with this concept this past year for the trade show. I believe there's a smaller version called the Slimmy. I forget the other one's name. And then this is the Biggie. This is the Biggie. This one looks like the flip top. Almost looks like it has the roll flint. But what it really is it's side trigger with the flat flame. And Kevin, we have talked about flat flames on the other show with Coupe. And I know how you feel about them. This lighter is badass. Now, the burner looks like it's around the same size as the Megajet. However, the body of it, a little bit different. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. One of the things about torch lighters that I always get cautious about is they tend to feel kind of lightweight and hollow. And this still has a nice solid weight to it. It's got a little bit of a weight to it. It's solid. Clicks every time. Doesn't matter how many times I do it. Clicks every time. It's got that strong flame. This is actually dialed down. Full blast, you'll burn your eyebrows off. This thing packs a lot of punch. This is a great lighter, and anyone who likes to have a nice lighter to light their cigars, you should check this out. I believe this retails for $2.99. I could be wrong.
Wow, really?
I could be wrong.
That's for an ST Dupont product. That's a good value. I mean,
somewhere around there.
$300 is a lot of money for a lighter. Yes. But when you have a lighter that literally outlasts $10, $30 lighters, it's it's a wash. It's buy once, cry once.
That's very true. That's very, very true. And, there's a reason why. Sorry, I have to grab one more thing. There's a reason why, at the Smokin Tabacco Show, we talk so much about SD Dupont and relying on them. It's because, well, they got some of the sharpest cutters in the business. They have some of the best lighters in the business. They're always reliable. We're busy guys. We got a lot of cigars we got to cut and light. We need something that's going to last, and that's why we rely on SD Dupont. So go and check them out today. Check out the new Biggie. Here it is. Beautiful.
Can't wait to check that one out. I'm still
Yeah.
using my trusty
Line 2.
space version of the Line 2 with the ping. I love this lighter.
In the Legrand,
Going back to your...
they ping now.
Sorry. Oh, they do?
The Legrand's ping now, yeah.
That's cool.
We saw that at the trade
Going
show
back
last
to
year
your
as well.
flat flame discussion, though, when Carlito was watching the show and actually commented on that, when he said that the flat flame is the closest to a match light for a cigar, that just hit home with me. And ever since he said that, I absolutely love using them.
It's true because even if you go direct, it's still not. I feel like it's still not as direct as a round jet with a point to it that's, focusing the heat on one spot. I usually light them at an angle, kind of like here when I light, and then I kind of bring it in for my roast, and I bring it in straight so that the flat flame is going up. So you're not like going in, you're kind of catching it, and it almost catches like the soft flame would, versus with a solid torch.
Like a match.
It does.
Once you get a good burn going on a match, it lights that nice, wide, even, soft flame. It's cool how it works. And I never even would have thought about that. Once he said that, and you actually look at the flat flame and you watch how, when you're toasting a cigar or you're actually lighting a cigar and you actually think about it, it makes perfect sense. But it didn't until somebody told me that it did.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, ever since he said that, I've paid attention to it, and I've used a lot of flat flames, and it's true. They really do light awesome. I know. Look, and it's all personal preference. So, there's people out there who probably don't like them, and that's fine. But for me, like I've been slowly enjoying the flat flames more and more. I'm a big fan of soft flame. I use a lot of soft flame lighters. I use a lot of single torch. I'm not one of these like triple quad, big jet lighter guys. The only reason I'll use one of those is if I'm smoking something that's like north of 60 ring, because I need the burning capacity, like on a 70 ring gauge or something like, crazy from Asylum. I'll use it for that, but most of what I smoke is sub 60 ring, and between the flat flame, the soft flame, and the occasional single jet, even the Defi Extreme, it's a twin jet, but just the way that the flame comes to a point like that, it's nice.
It's still like a single jet.
Yeah, and it lights very well, but it's like a stronger single jet, and it lights really well. It's not too much. You don't need more flame than you don't want more flame than you need, I should say. And for me, that's what I like. For some other people, they might not like that. Maybe they like having the triple jet, and that's fine. But yeah, I agree that the flat flames for me have become a new favorite, and I love the way they light the cigars, and they light really even, really nice, and the way that that initial light up happens with them.
If there's any wind, forget about it. That's when you need to go
It's
to
true.
That's when you need to go to the 3 or 4 jet torches.
Yeah,
But-
that's true too. I smoke mostly indoors though, so I don't.
So
have
do
that
I.
Which is so it's true. That's a very good point. I'm not discrediting that. Me personally, I think that the other reason why is because I probably like 99% of the cigars I smoke indoors. So I've never had that issue. But it is true. You're right. So yeah, SD Dupont. Be exceptional. Check them out. Give them some love. They make some great products. Spend a little bit more up front, but you'll have it for a lifetime. I promise.
They're a piece of art.
It is. Great quality. Now, I'm already like burning my way through this drink because it's so fucking good. I knew this was going to happen. I was going to get some good drinks going, and then I was going to start ripping them, and then I was going to get like out of control. and we're only 38 minutes into the show. So
See, I'm pacing. I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to switch to the mojito. Though I probably should have started with the mojito because it actually has ice in it, and this doesn't. But
now
I
your
wanted
drink's
to
watering itself down. It's all right. You'll be all right.
But we do have the classic Fuente mojito.
Well, Kevin, for those of you who've been paying attention and keeping score, lives in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, which is where Casa Fuente is. So now there's, and Kevin being a local can attest to this, but usually locals don't spend a lot of time down on the strip because why would you? But he also has spent a lot of time down on the strip. So Kevin has the luxury of going to Casa Fuente all the time if he so desires to, which means he has the luxury of taking his time and figuring out the recipe to the famous Casa Fuente mojito and going home and figuring it out. If he fucks it up, well, he can go back next weekend and figure it out again. I don't have that luxury. I have to wait every 6 months that I'm out there, and I have to go and just get too wrapped up in being there and drinking like 5 of them. And then I forget about it halfway through, and then I go home, and I'm like, I wish I could remember how to make that. But no, Kevin gets to have the luxury of figuring it out, and he thinks that he has cracked the code on that recipe, and it's very interesting because
It's the Monte Cristo rum.
yeah, I'll tell you, it's the best mojito I've ever had. If you go to Las Vegas, you go to Casa Fuente. If you've already been, you already know this is not for you. But for those who don't know, if you have never been to Las Vegas, or if you have, but if you're going to be going, next time you go, make sure you should go anyway. If there's one thing you do that's a little expensive and touristy, go to Casa Fuente.
Mm-hmm.
Buy some of the house sticks because, I mean, it's Fuente and it's good, and you can't get that blend anywhere else. But you go to the bar, you get the mojitos. Now, Kevin and I differ a little bit on this, and that's fine. He likes the more traditional mojito. I really like the tangerine mojito. But regardless of which one you go with, the base of the mojito in general at Casa Fuente is just exceptional. It is fantastic. I drink a lot of mojitos. I drink a lot of, different cocktails and stuff. And it's in terms of mojitos or rum drinks as a whole, it's probably my favorite specifically. Is the mojitos at Casa Fuente and Caesar's Palace. It is just fantastic.
Sourcing the Monte Cristo if you're going to make it at home is a chore.
Yeah.
And you have to pay for it, but once you find it, that's the primary component of the mojito, and it makes all the difference in the world.
Well, would you pay for it yourself? If you don't mind me
About
asking.
$100.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's literally like a $30 bottle of rum. But by the time that you dig it up and pay the shipping and this and that and the secondary pricing and all that,
Yeah.
I don't even know if they make it anymore, to be honest with you. But
I don't know much about it myself, so I can't really say. But that is one to know. Now,
they use the Brugal 1888 and their other mojitos and some of their other drinks. So that's how I ended up with that, and that's actually easy to find.
Well, Brugal 1888, yeah, you can usually find that one. That's the one in the long round bottle with the netting around it. If maybe for those of you who are trying to picture it. Now, there's another Brugal which I meant to grab and I didn't, and I have a couple bottles of that I brought back from the Dominican. And it's the Brugal Leyenda, which is another favorite of mine. Delicious rum. That one's sweet too, but it's a different kind of sweetness. It's like sweet up front, and then there's like I don't want to say strange because it's not a bad flavor, but there's a sweetness up front, and then there's like this tang on the finish, and it kind of changes, and it's a really nice rum, and
it's almost like a raw sugar caney kind of.
Yeah, it's very raw. It's good, but it's a specific flavor profile that you either like or you don't. I feel like there's no middle ground there. You either like it or you don't. I like it. I don't like to drink large amounts of it, but I'll sip on it and enjoy it. But after a while, it's just one of those ones that it's kind of like a heavier rum on the flavor, on the palate. I can't drink like a lot of it at a time just because it becomes very overpowering. But in small glasses, it's very delicious. It's quite enjoyable, and I did drink a lot of it when I was down in the Dominican last time, which I don't know could have led to the creation of my child, but that's neither here nor there. So I didn't grab that. I meant to, but that's okay. I have the Ron Zacapa 23. I have that in my cocktail. I also have with me, and I'm going to experiment with this one, both neat, and I'm going to mix it with a punch that I have over here. Now, those of you probably recognize this bottle, whether you've actually been fortunate enough to get one into the United States is probably another question. But this is the Forbidden Fruit. This is the Havana Club 7 Años from Havana, Cuba. This is Cuban rum. It's real Cuban rum. It's not fake. Don't fucking start with that bullshit. I don't want to hear the, oh, is it real? It's real. I know it's real. All right. But here it is, the extra aged. So, Kevin, you and I haven't really talked a lot about Cuban rum, I don't think. But you've had.
We
Cuban
haven't.
rum. You have it.
I have a bottle here too.
You have the 7 Años?
No.
Which one do you
I forget
have?
which one. I forget which one I have. A friend of mine. Actually, it might be. I have to go grab it. It's a 375. It's a smaller bottle. One of my friends sent me.
What I thought was interesting about the 7 Años when I had it, I like I said, we've had a lot of rums are traditionally sweet because it's distilled from sugarcane. The Ron Zacapa's got a sweetness to it. The Brugals have a sweetness to them. The Bamboo is really sweet. They're not all sweet, obviously, but there's always a sweet undertone to them. Because rum's traditionally made from sugar. Now, with 7 Años, people always, oh, Cuban rum, Cuban cigars. So, this one in particular is perhaps one of their better known rums from Havana Club. And it's funny because I remember the first time I had it, I was all excited. I cracked it open, I poured a glass, and I sipped it just straight neat. And because I wanted to get a raw taste, and I was surprised, and I was like, this is nothing. Oh, okay. Yeah, 7 Años.
Yep.
It's nothing of what I expected. It tasted more like a whiskey to me. And not that it tastes like whiskey, but it had more of that much less sweetness, bolder, stronger, heavier taste to it. And I still enjoyed it for what it is, but it's just not what I originally expected. And I was like, and it always perplexed me, and it kind of threw me off when I first had it. But nevertheless, I still drink it and I enjoy it. But it is a little bit different than one might expect, I should say. So I have it with me, and I'm gonna play around with it tonight and see what I can get out of it. But I do have one, and I'm curious to see how it pairs well with the sun-grown. Now this cocktail that Nicole made for me is almost gone. It's so good. It's going to get me there pretty quick. And the sun-grown tobacco is fantastic with it, too. This was... Because the cigar's not overpowering it, but it's also strong enough to keep up with it. It's not too mild. This is a really
that's
nice
a good
balance.
choice. That's a really good choice for a rum pairing cigar, because rum... It's very easy to overrun with a cigar.
Yeah.
If you go something on the upper end, the medium full, and definitely full bodied and full strength, you're going to run it over, and then you're not going to get the benefits and the you're not going to get the pairing appreciation that you're looking for when you have rum with a cigar. Because rum is probably one of the best beverages that you can pair with a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Rum,
100%.
bourbon, Scotch, all those are right there.
Don't mind me. I'm just having a little snack in between.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's been a long day. But
as far as regions go, I'm a big fan of the Panama rums.
yeah.
Abuelo.
I forgot about Panama rums.
Is you have Abuelo rum. And then when we were down for a work trip, which ironically was one of the first times that I actually smoked a cigar, was on the same trip. we cleaned them out of Abuelos, the bar. We cleaned the bar completely out of Abuelo 7 and Abuelo 12. We had the wristbands. It was an all-inclusive. Every time we went to the bar, pointed at the wristband. Finally, they just gave us the bottle and let us take it to the beach. They got tired of pouring it.
Here you go. Just get out of here.
So
Stop
we
bothering
drank.
me,
They
please.
had 2 cases of 12-year and a case of 7-year, and in 5 days we drank all of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good problem to have. I don't think I've ever been at a bar where they just gave me the bottle, but I've also never really tried. That's gonna be on my agenda for when I travel to a resort like that next time. I'm gonna be like, I want to
Like
see.
it's all inclusive. Just give me the bottle because I'm gonna drink it all anyhow.
It's like I'm just gonna go up to the guy next time. I'm gonna cut out the bullshit and I'm gonna be like, listen, I'm gonna come up here 100 times, and we're gonna empty that bottle. So I can either come up here 100 times and make you stop and make the drinks, or you could just give me the bottle. I can go to the beach and we could be done.
A good tip is a pathway to the bottle.
So, what do you want to do? It's not like I'm paying for it. So you can either give me the bottle, or I can just come up here 100 times and slow you down, and there's 100 other people who need drinks. I don't know. That's my strategy. I'm just gonna go with it.
Hey, it works.
I'm gonna have my glass ready for over here too. Now, it's funny. We talk about, I feel like whiskey and bourbon specifically. We talk a lot about those. A lot of shows, a lot of cigars. Whiskey, Scotch too. Let's be fair. There's a lot of Scotch drinkers. You're talking about bourbon, Scotch, which yes, huge with cigars. Those are whiskey in general. Very popular with cigars. I know I like it. You like it. There's a lot of people. It's like tomato sauce on pizza.
It's an acquired taste. There's a lot of people that like Scotch that don't like bourbon. A lot of people that like bourbon that don't like Scotch, and we'll like them both. So
yeah, no, I mean I used to like Scotch a lot more when I was younger. And I was 21, 22, 23, 24, almost 25, I think even into my 25th year, I was like, oh yeah, I was drinking Scotch. And then I found bourbon. And like really found, not like let me try I got into bourbon at like almost 26. And the 25, 26, really like exploring it, and I started drinking a lot of bourbon. And then I started, I kind of took a pause and went back to Scotch, and I was like, my palate changed. And it was weird because I used to drink like Oban 14, Micallef 12. I used to like Johnny Double Black, and I used to drink all those. And on occasion, the Johnny Blue, those who know, I mean, you drink Johnny Blue, it's special, I went back to it, and my palate had just changed, and I was like, "Oh, I can't drink it anymore." My palate has been like fixed to the sweeter, just Kentucky bourbon, and I'm like stuck there now. Not that I'm complaining. I love bourbon, but I feel like I lost my Scotch taste, which is crazy, but that's where I'm at. But when I was younger and I started, drinking all the time, I was like, oh, Scotch, yeah. But I feel like I've lost the Scotch, and it's insane to me. But it kind of sucks. But it is what it is. I drink it now, and I'm like, oh, I don't like it.
there's some of it that is still outstanding. I mean, Micallef 15, Micallef 18.
Yeah,
It's still good. You have that with a nice Connecticut cigar, and oh wow. It does nothing but put a smile on your face, and you sit back in your chair and just, oh, this is such a good pairing and so good.
and I'll be honest with you, I haven't had a glass of Scotch in probably 2 years, because I gave up on it and I said, I'm done. I moved on. I am due to give it. It's like, hey, it's been a while. I should try something. So, you know what? I
Last year,
I am due.
I belong to a bottle share group here in Vegas, and it's primarily bourbon, but from time to time we'll dabble in Irish or in Scotches.
Yep.
And last year for our Christmas, one of the guys brought a bottle of Dalmore Constellation, which was a 30-year Scotch.
Okay.
And it was silky smooth. Not a lot of body, not a lot of burn. I forget what the proof was. Nothing compared to any bourbon or whatever that you would drink, but it was really good. I mean, when you consider that the bottle, I think it was $13,000 the dude paid for the bottle.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't taste $13,000 when I drank it, but it was still good.
That's like the Remy Louis 13. You hear about it, you go to a nice bar, you see it up there, and it's crystal decanter. You know, you listen to rap music, you hear people talking about, I got that Louis 13, because it's fucking like, what is it, like $6,000 for the bottle or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, and look, I've never had it. I'll be honest with you. Never had it. I probably could have at certain points in my life. I just didn't. But it's like,
if you're a fan of
what's the
cognac,
point?
then okay, it's good. But if you're not a fan of cognac, it's...
I'll be honest with you. I don't mind cognac. There are a few I do enjoy. Because when it comes to liquor, I'm not too specific on any one. There's cognacs I do enjoy. Old school Hennessy is, if I'm in the mood, you know, it's not bad. The Remy 1738 is a nice bottle. You know, you can't really go wrong with that. That's probably
Davidoff actually makes a really nice cognac.
They do. I've never had it.
I've got a bottle here. It's actually really good.
As well as Habanos with the Cohiba name, it does exist in Europe. There is a Cohiba cognac. I've never had it. I've never seen one, but I know that it does exist, which I thought was always interesting. Cohiba branded cognac. But yeah, the Remy 1738, I'd say if I was to have a cognac, that'd probably be the one. That'd be my favorite. I like there's certain spirits that I have. There's certain ones I'll drink it because I enjoy that one, but I'm not wide into it. Like gin. You already know what gin I like. I don't like gin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a gin guy. But there's only one gin that I'll drink it, and I love it because it's fantastic, and it's Room 101. And I've said it before, and you I know you feel the same way. I'm not a gin guy, but what Matt did with that gin is it's very different, and I'll drink it and I'll be like, this is nice. It's really nice. Like just even on the rocks, and people are like, you drink gin straight. Just even on the rocks, that's a great gin to drink straight. It is, because it's not like most gin.
It's actually really good and neat.
It is.
Which is completely unusual for a gin, but at least in my opinion, I'm not a gin fan, just like Matt said. Room 101 gin is so citrusy, it's literally like drinking a mixed cocktail right out of the bottle.
Do you know how many people
citrus forward note?
Do you know how many people I've pulled out? Because I always have a couple bottles on hand in the house. Mm-hmm. And the conversation comes up, and I'm like, oh, let me show you a gin, and like that'll blow you away. And they're like, oh, all right, and they, you know, and I give it to them, and they're like, what is that? Where can I buy it? That is delicious. And I'm like, well, we don't have it around here. And they're like, what? Why would you show me that then? And I'm like, believe me, I know the owner of the brand. I've been telling them. Stop dragging your feet, get it in New England. I don't know. I got to text him again. Be like, can you please get this in New Hampshire so I don't have to start like bugging you and Kevin to get my bottles because I just want to go and buy it. So
now you know what it feels like when you get the allocated bourbon that you can't get where you live. So
yeah, you're from Ohio originally, where the word on the street is Weller Special Reserve, Antique 107, and sometimes the other labels sit on the shelf like Jack Daniels, and it's mind fucking boggling to me that there's a liquor stores out there where 107 sits on the shelf, and I'm like, why?
The only one I've not seen on the shelf in Ohio is the CYPB, the white label bottle. That's
so like even like 12 year, you can walk in, you can just grab 12 year, like, oh yeah, I'll go grab a 12
at retail. Not at secondary, at retail.
Why? Why? Why Ohio? Like what? Like I don't understand. The rest of the country's like, you got to give a guy a tug in an alley to get a bottle of fucking 107. You go to Ohio and they're like, yeah, we got it. We got like 100 cases. It's like,
I
what?
know the liquor store right by where Barb's parents live. They have 2 Saturdays a month. They have an allocated release, and they'll just open cases of it, and you get in line. It's not a lottery. First come, first service. 1 bottle per person, or 1 bottle per family. So if you're going with your wife, you're still only getting 1 bottle. You don't each get one.
Oh, that sucks.
And
Nicole and I have definitely done that.
it rolls through, but they make it fair for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you stand a real good shot at getting it. I mean, that's where I got the Antique 107. I got the Weller Full Proof. I got the Weller 12. So
I remember a couple of years ago, I know it's like now we're talking about other stuff than rum, but
yeah, you're the one who brought up Weller.
well, now we're here. We're talking about spirits, so it's it's just how it happened. But I promise you a laid back show and you're getting one. So it's funny. I remember I've had almost all the Wellers. I think the only one I have not had is the CYPB, but I've had Special Reserve, 107. I've had the single barrel. I've had the full proof. I've had the 12. I've had William LaRue from the BTAC, also known as Buffalo Trace Antique Collection, which is a very separate release. It's not part of the regular Wellers. Yeah, I've had all of them except for CYPB. And I remember a few years ago, I came into acquiring several bottles of full proof, and some of them were store picks. So I won't really get too far into that, but stores can pick by the barrel, they bottle it, and it's considered a hand-picked barrel. And those who are in the bourbon circle deep enough know that that's usually kind of a bigger deal because it's a little bit more personal selection. It's a little specialer, and with bourbon traders, it's a little bit more sought after. And it seems to me like
as the guy picking it's got a good palate.
Correct. Now, and it seems to me that Weller Full Proof has mostly gone just store picks now. I don't think in the last couple of years that I've seen them come and go, I think they've all been store picks at this point. I don't think I've seen any that were just general bottling.
I have 2 bottles that aren't.
Yeah.
Just Weller Full Proof.
When did you get them?
Last year.
Yeah. From a retailer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of them like that. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I haven't seen a lot of them that weren't. It seems to me like maybe Buffalo Trace is just kind of going more store pick with those. But I came into a collection of several of them a few years ago, and I remember I cracked one, and I drank it, and I had a couple glasses with Nicole, and I was like, don't really love this one. And I remember I traded it to a buddy for something else. And then the rest of them that were unopened, I traded for some George T. Staggs, of which I think I still have some. I have a couple of bottles. I don't know if I have those, but no, I think I have one of them from that trade. And so that was a good trade. But that's another thing too. Like when it comes to that stuff, you can trade it, and as long as you know what you're doing and you know what you're looking for, and you know what you have. That's the other thing too. I've seen some people who have traded away things and I'm like, you just gave away. You don't even know what you had. And then I've also, I wouldn't say
that cracks me up when people do that though, because they have access to it and it's available to where there's some of us you got to give, arm, a leg, and a kidney to get it, and they can just walk into the store and buy it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's where that's why trades like that happen.
And I'll be honest with you. I'll know that I can acquire certain things and I don't love them, but I will buy them because I know that I can use it to leverage something I do want from someone else. Like I remember when I tried the Weller 12, and it was okay, but I had a bottle at home and I was looking for some other stuff I wanted more. Actually, it was a Van Winkle 12-year Lot B, and I already had one, and I wanted another one, and I'm in a bourbon group. I'm in several bourbon groups, but one of the groups I'm in, I posted, hey, I got a Weller 12, and I have this, and I have that. I had a couple of things, and I put it up there, and I'm like, I'm looking for a Lot B, and this guy hit me up, and he was like, I got a Lot B. I just got it from New Hampshire Liquor Outlet Lottery. Because New Hampshire's this is before I lived in New Hampshire, but New Hampshire is a controlled liquor state. So basically, New Hampshire as a state runs its own allocated lottery quarterly. So they get all their allocations, and then it just goes into one giant raffle statewide. So this guy got one in there and paid like the $69.99 for it, and I had like Weller 12, and I had a couple other like things. I think I might even had a foolproof too. I had a couple of Wellers actually, and I remember I traded him for it, and someone was like, "You telling me you traded like some Wellers and like whatever else I had for a fucking Van Winkle 12?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Where do you find these people?" I'm like, "I don't know." Guy wanted to do it. I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take that." So, I mean.
Costco here just had the Pappy Van Winkle or the rip
The 10 years.
10-year.
Asleep many years in the wood. 10 summers old.
It sold out. They sold out a whole pallet full of cases in like 15 minutes.
See, that's
But they
crazy
didn't
to
limit
me.
it. Well, they didn't limit it, so guys are going in and buying 4 and 5 cases of it at a time.
That's crazy to
And
me
they turn
because
around
like
and
the
flip it on the
Costco's
secondary.
around here at like Christmas time, like each store gets like one of each. And if you're not like waiting outside the doors every day, like the week of Christmas, because that's usually when they put them out, like you're not getting one of like the 7 bottles they have, and they get like one of each. They get like one of all the Pappies, they get like a George T, a Thomas H, maybe a William LaRue Weller, and that's it. And they get like one of each. That's it.
I have to dig through and find the picture in our bourbon group. It was
But
like a pyramid of Pappy.
Yeah, but like I've seen pictures from Costco's that I know are in the Southwest. Like I know some Arizona ones, there's Vegas ones, and I've seen pictures of pallets of Weller 12. I've seen the table where they have like 20 George T, 20 Thomas H Handy. There's like 10 Old Rip 10. There's 10, and I'm like, what the fuck?
And
like,
and the best part about that is the Costco prices too, which means it's a little bit back of retail.
yeah. And it's just like, why can't our Costco's have that? Why is it that we get one each, and then like one asshole goes in there with his friends and they're like, buy them all? And I'm like,
Yep.
because some of us have to be at work, you know, before 9
wasn't gonna go
a.m. on
stand
a
in
Tuesday.
line. There was like 400 people in the line to get in to get it, and I think they got like 30 deep, and it was sold out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, bringing it back to rum. The one thing about rum is I don't think that there's any rums out there, or really many other spirits outside of bourbon. I know that there's probably a couple, but bourbon's really the only one that's like that right now.
It is, and I blame a lot of that on social media and the secondary market.
Yeah.
Just whoring it up and whoring it out.
Was this not an open bottle? I have an open bottle and an unopened bottle, and I think I just opened.
Well, now they're both open.
Whatever. I'm gonna drink them all anyway. Who cares?
It's gonna say it's for drinking, right? It's not for saving.
I'm not getting rid of them, so who cares? But do I need to have multiple open bottles? No, but who cares? I got this one from Mitchell, so
You just gotta drink twice as much now.
I got it from Mitchell. Yes, I have a friend in Canada who gets me what I need. And he's my friend, not your friend.
Yeah, now the guys in the black helicopters are probably on their way to Mitch's house.
Oh. Yeah, it was fun. I was listening to Cigar. So shout out to the guys at Cigar Hustler because they called me from the show a couple days ago, and they wanted to thank us for having the Postania, Connecticut. I think we had a 13 on the list. It was high on the list.
I think so. I don't have the list.
And
It was a Connecticut heavy list.
Yeah, it was. No, but they wanted to thank us for the recognition. I don't think they got a lot of recognition, and they wanted to thank. And I was like, yeah, no problem. They called me up, and we were laughing and making jokes at Coop's expense, as I tend to do, because I love Coop. Which, side note, if I rag on you, it's because I love you. If I don't make jokes about you, I don't like you. So, and Coop knows this. So that's why I pick on Coop all the time, because I love Coop. I love Coop like my own family. I would do.
Is that why Barbara and I pick on you so much?
Yeah, because I would
love
do
you.
I would do very bad things for you and Barbara and Coop, you know. But
Your family, bro.
I know but that's what I'm saying, you So people think, like, well, you're big on Coop all that because I love Coop. I love him.
We love Coop.
I love him. But anyway, no. So I was on the phone with them, and I was listening to the show after, like to hear our conversation, because they called me in, and so I wasn't, because I think they pre-record their show, so I didn't get to hear the whole show, so I listened after because I wanted to hear the show, and it was funny. They were talking about us, and they were talking about Palmer mentioned how Mitchell, was talking to him, about the list and whatever, and then they were talking about Mitchell and being in Canada, and one of them said, I forget who said it, but I remember one of them said something about, yeah, Mitchell lives up in Canada. Yeah, they get taxed for stepping outside. I was like, I was driving and I just lost it. I was like, it's so
good tax for stepping outside.
Yeah, Canada, they get taxed for stepping outside. And I was like, it's so true. It's fucked up. It really is. But it's true. It's sad. It really is. But they have access to things that I don't have here. So I'll go, Mitchell, I need you to do something for me. And Mitchell's this is when I'll pick on Mitchell, but it is in good fun, and Kevin knows. I remember when I asked Mitchell last time, I was like, I need some Cuban rum, and Mitchell was like, oh, okay, I'll take a look for you, and I'll make sure I package it up right, and hopefully it gets there. I hope it don't get held up at customs. And I was like, yeah, whatever it is, if it gets lost, it gets lost. I don't care. I'll pay for it either way. But just send it in.
Maple syrup.
Yeah, it's maple syrup. So the story with that. So the last time when I got it in, Mitchell sent it, and I don't know if you remember this, but he told us in our company group chat. He was like, oh yeah, so I packaged it up. I'm sending it out, and on the customs form, I had to do my declaration, and I put it as personal lubricant. I was like, why?
He goes, wait a minute, what are you sending this to Matt Booth?
Yeah, I'm like, if Matt was here, he'd be like, yes. You can never have enough personal lubricants. Got to keep those holes moist, boys. Yes. Yeah, he sent it in as personal lubricant, and he was all nervous about it. So Mitchell, Mitchell's your typical, like, to us, your stereotypical Canadian. He's very, he's very friendly. He's very honest. He's very, he's a good guy, and you can't knock him because he's a great person. I don't think that kid has a bad bone in his body. I mean, just trying to get him to say something negative about a cigar. He's like, well, it's a great factory. They use some good tobaccos. They didn't really quite hit my palate, but it's a fantastic. And I'm like, Mitchell, just say the cigar sucks. Come on. He doesn't have it.
Personal lubricant thing was my idea, by the way, because I wanted to see if I can make him feel uncomfortable. Because the customs agent that gets that personal lubricant. Okay, next.
So I think my point being is the fact that Mitchell, knowing how he is, went out of his way, which I appreciated so much. It's like, Mitchell, this was awesome. I remember I came to my house, like, oh, made it. I got excited. But I just saw it. I was like, the fact that Mitchell had to go on the thing and lie and put personal lubricant, of all things, he could have put olive oil, maple syrup. No, Mitchell, innocent middle Mitchell, put personal lubricant to ship Cuban products into the United States.
Tell me that's not the best thing you could put on that, though.
I was proud of him. I was like, wow, this kid.
Well, you're a customs agent. You're going to see that, and you're going to go, next. You're not even going to.
I ain't going to go in there. I don't even care. I don't care if it's a bomb. Like, I'm not going to, because if it's not, I don't want to touch some guy's fucking ass lube. Like, no, I don't even care. Let him do what he wants.
Yeah. What else is in the box with the personal lubricant?
Yeah, it's like there might be a dildo in there. It might be used. I don't know. I'm just gonna. It's like, yeah, it's all right. But it made it, and I have to give him credit. He packaged it very well. He because it's glass bottles, he wrapped them pretty dense. There was a lot of wrapping on them. I remember being like, shit, are these in here or what? So give him credit for that.
You know what's really funny to me about this conversation right now is I could totally see my beautiful wife Barbara in there shaking her head at us like,
yeah,
you guys are like children.
Yeah, Nicole's probably doing the same thing too. Yeah, see, Mitchell's still here. Works every time. And look at, he even apologized. We're busting his balls being fun with him, and he's still apologizing. Mitchell, you don't have to apologize. We're just having fun. Come on. Don't worry. You didn't do anything wrong.
So wait a minute.
Funny.
So is Mitch experienced in receiving shipments of personal lubricant in Canada so he knows it works without getting to... How does he know that it works every time?
Mitchell, would you like to enlighten us with how you know about this? So Alex
You got
said
it
rum,
right.
rum, lubricant, and dildos. Love the show. LOL. That's why we brought you here tonight. This is a very it's a very loose show. If you know what I'm saying.
Well, when I was saying about the whole shipping situation, I just thought the number one question, what would Matt Booth do?
Matt Booth would
In my
say,
mind-
put
and
some
in my
actual
mind
lube
went-
in there.
My mind went right to personal lubricant. That's just
Matt, no, but the difference with Matt is he'd be like, yeah, send the Cuban rum because I mean I want that, but he'd be like, put some Canadian lube in there. I want to see, how do they make it?
really,
up there?
man. And he'd be like, really, man, put
man.
some lube in there.
I want to
Really,
know how the
really.
Canadians do it. Is it more oily? I need to test this out. I need to see the viscosity to its friction ratio in many orifices. I need to try this. Man, let me tell you this.
and
I
anybody
cannot
that
live
knows
my
us-
life without knowing how well the Canadians... Because, when you engage in certain pleasures, right? You must be prepared. You can never have too much lube. You don't want to get into a dry situation. You get a burn. Nobody likes that, man. No one's going to reach the pinnacle of sexual satisfaction with a dry sensation. Am I right? It's not sensual. So you need the lube to bring
And anybody that knows us, we're not taking shots at Matt. Matt is like a very dear personal friend to both me and Matthew. And
if he heard this right
It's-
now, he'd be
it's-
like, yes.
it's just Matt.
Yes.
Oh,
Tell him.
he-
Tell the world.
it would be very erotic for Matt.
It would be sensational. Sensational.
It would be.
Sensational. Yes.
Can make for a really fun weekend next weekend when he's here.
Mitchell, this is hilarious. Mitchell, I have to say sorry, even if I did nothing wrong. It's the Canadian way. That's funny.
Hey, hey.
So on the Cuban episode, they did him and McTavish, they did the Cuban cigar episode, which was nice because I couldn't be on the show that week because I was literally in the middle of moving into my new house. So I said, hey, Mitchell, why don't you do a show? I can't be on. And he's like, what if we do McTavish? And they did a great job. If you haven't seen the show, it was about a month ago. Go check it out. They did a whole Cuban cigar show. They answered a lot of questions. They talked a lot about it. But, it was the two Canadians. And I said, we got to do a Canadian takeover show like at least once a year because this was awesome. And they kept talking about the temperature. And they kept, because they use Celsius in Canada. And they kept referring to Fahrenheit as freedom. Like, it's like 9 degrees out or like, like 42 freedom. And I'm like, it's just
42 freedom.
every time they said it, I just died laughing. I was like, that's great. Is that what they say about us up there? Like, oh, yeah, in America, they got freedom. Oh, yeah, it's 32 freedom. It's like...
Hey, all I got to say is that the number of moose in the United States don't outnumber the population of humans, so
yeah,
we're good.
well, that's true. There's a lot of unused land up
Barb,
there.
I think Barb's given us a hint that we've bashed on Mitchell too much.
Yeah, she's got a soft spot for those who, she has a soft spot for me to certain degrees, but she'll never feel bad for me if anyone ever picks on me because she knows I pick on people a lot. Same with you. Like, she'll only defend you. I find so far she only defends you from me. And usually only if I pick on you for your age. Outside of that, it's like, yeah, Kevin, you suck. And I'm like, yeah, there it is. Like, that's the only time she'll defend you, is if I'm like, oh, Kevin, you look a little old there. And she'll be like, hey, watch what you're saying. But, like, other than that, she'll be like, yeah, Kevin, like, you're on your own. But, yeah, I just poured a glass of the Havana Club 7 Años. Letting it breathe a little bit. I am going to sip on this a little bit. And then I might mix it with something else after. But, like I said before, this is Cuban rum. It's the 7 Años, the 7-year. It's an aged rum. And like I said, it's not a sweet rum. So the one thing to remember too, if you've never had this and you're looking to try it, if you can get your hands on some, in some way, shape, or form, maybe you can bribe Mitchell to send you some personal lubricant. I don't know. But don't, because you know what? That's my guy, and I don't want to overwhelm the kid because I need him. So, But anyway, on the nose, it's nice. It reminds me of a really soft, low peaty Scotch on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it. And then you take a sip.
It definitely does not have the sweetness that you're accustomed. That
Are you
you'd
sipping
be
on it too?
accustomed to if you're a rum fan, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not very traditionally. Well, I don't want to say traditional. I mean, Cuban rum kind of goes back, but most rums you've probably had. This is not like it. It's
I would liken it to cognac. It's very similar to cognac in the palate.
It has sweetness, but it's not a sweet liquor. It's not.
Which is weird because it has that taste because cognac is grape based like wine.
Correct.
And this isn't. So
it's honestly but it's not like too rough. It's not too deep. It's not too dark. It's just
smooth.
not as sweet. It's smooth. It is smooth. You're right. It's still smooth for what it is. What is the?
From a sipping standpoint, I think it would hold up the cigars better than a lot of traditional rums because it doesn't have that sweetness and it's not quite as soft.
Yeah, it's 40%.
Yeah, so it's only 80 proof. So I mean, it's where rum traditionally is not higher in the proof. I think 80 proof is close to top of the scale for rum.
Yeah, so it's a stronger rum, which I think is worth mentioning too. But it's nice. I for me, if you're into like sweet rums or you're into like nice rum cocktails or real juicy punch like cocktails and real I would not recommend this. This is not this to me. This is a sipping rum. It doesn't have that strong sweetness too that you like. This is something I'd probably sip on. You could probably mix it. I'm not saying don't but I don't think it's.
It would be interesting to mix because a lot of these cocktails that rely on the sweetness of the rum to make the cocktail.
And I think that's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
This would not hit it.
Yeah. No. And it's funny. Mitchell actually brings up one that I actually agree with a lot, and I'm surprised that I forgot to bring this up earlier. But Diplomatico. I've had Diplomatico. It's a Dominican rum. It's a great rum. I've had that rum before, and I remember I bought a bottle of it several years ago on the recommendation of a friend, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And I haven't explored it recently. Not really, I shouldn't say explore. But I haven't had it recently, and I am due to revisit that one. So that's a good one,
From
too.
a sipping standpoint, that one's kind of almost like the Bumbu. Like
Yeah.
the Diplomatico, for me, it's a little bit too sweet on the sipping standpoint. I like the older rums as the sippers, the 15 years, the 18 years, 25, 30 years. Those are your good, really good sippers, but they're also cost prohibitive for a lot of people. So aside from the Ranzacap.
Yeah, I mean, the Ranzacap is it's sweet, but I feel like it's not too sweet. It's still pretty universal as a rum.
Mm-hmm.
It mixes well, but it's still good enough to drink it straight. The Havana Club, the Seven Años, this is a straight drinking rum from my standpoint. It is a good rum, no doubt about it, but it's not one that I'd probably make cocktails with, just me personally.
Which is unusual because usually the lower aged rums typically are going to be your mixing rums, where you get to the older rums are going to be your sippers.
Yeah.
So this one being 7 years is relatively young in the aged rum world, and it's a really good sipper.
I want to take a moment to just talk about the news really quickly. Our news is once again brought to you by Micallef Cigars. If you head over to sorry, that's the old ad. Head over to smokintabacco.com today and check out Kevin's review of the Micallef Black Toro, which was rated 91 at smokintabacco.com, and it also placed at the number 4 spot on our 2023 Cigar of the Year list, which is also at smokintabacco.com. You can check that out under our Awards 2023 tab. At the top of the page, you'll find all of the awards that we have already announced, as well as ones that are to come. We have a few more left to unveil that we're still finalizing. But As part of our news this week, I'm actually going to talk about some in-house stuff because it's that time of year and I might as well. So, as I mentioned, we're doing our awards. Yesterday, we released another award. We have a couple out there already, so go check them out. But I just wanted to take a moment to recognize our 2023 Person of the Year has gone to Carlito Fuente Jr. And there's a lot of reasons why. And if you read my article that I wrote pertaining to that award, you'll find out. So I won't get too deep into it. You should go to the website and you should read it. It's a good read. I know that everyone over in that group has been very excited all day. I haven't had a chance to really chat with them too much because I've had such a long day, but I know they're very excited. So it's a well-deserved win. What I will say in a nutshell is, Carlito has done a lot in the last couple of years that I think a lot of people don't really realize or know, and that's kind of by design, I think, too. As much as people see the things he does do in the spotlight, there's a lot of stuff he does outside the spotlight that unless you're really keeping tabs on him and following him, really paying attention, you might just miss. But there's a lot of things that he's done personally for the business that Arturo Fuente as a company has done that has really helped them continue to evolve to their next chapter of where they want to be. I can tell you that company and everyone there has plans and ambitions, and they've already begun to roll out. I think the next phase of what the Arturo Fuente company is going to become, which is far greater than premium handmade cigars. They have ambitions to do things way beyond cigars. And anyone who's been paying attention, I think, probably can figure that out. And it's by design. I mean, some people may have seen it like they're doing all these other things, but it's not that they're being distracted from cigars. They're expanding on what they're doing, and they've done a great job of that. Carlito also has been spending a lot more time getting back into retail shops, which I know is something that he's been absent from for a little while, and I know he spoke to me today and told me in 2024 it's just going to keep continuing. So he's been doing a lot on that front. I know he has a lot of interesting things planned for 2024 and beyond. And outside of all of that, he was one of the handful of people who really spent a lot of time and money as a manufacturer, supporting, PCA, Cigar Rights of America, making trips to Washington, really being involved with all the FDA stuff, and more specifically to the case that happened last year with Judge Mehta that was thrown out, for those of you who know, where the FDA was told that they cannot regulate premium cigars, which was monumental for the cigar industry. But he, along with Rocky Patel and a handful of others that really spent a lot of time, a lot of money on help really supporting that cause. And it's very important because it's for the greater good of everybody who enjoys premium cigars. And you can read more about it, like I said, in depth at SmokingTabacco.com. But he's our 2023 Person of the Year. Yeah, he made an impact on the industry, and we felt that it was worth being recognized. So. I just want to say congratulations to him. Shout out to him. Also, we announced Best Show Guest of 2023, which has gone to, once again, Steve Saka. That's a pretty easy one. It's mostly based on who had the most traffic on our shows, and between the show and our trade show videos combined. I don't even have to include the trade show, but I do just because it's also so off the charts. Like the views on all his stuff from last year just by thousands and thousands exceeded everybody else and any other thing we did. So that's another big one too. Steve's been having a great year. Krakatoa, Micallef Black, both placed high on our list this year. We did announce our Cigar of the Year. We've talked about that. And what else have we announced for our awards? There was another one we've already released. We released Accessory of the Year. Palio Pistola, which I don't have with me. From Quality Importers, that's our Accessory of the Year. Cigar of the Year, Davidoff, Anniversario number 1. And we still have our Factory of the Year, our Company of the Year, and the Airport Selfie Contest. I know everyone wants to know who's going to win that. So it's down to
that one's going to be a big one. There's been a lot of fighting over those three.
I want to say it's down to like 3 people at this point. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't. But I think it's like down to like 3 people. One of them everybody probably already knows, but I'm still not going to say it. But if you pay attention enough, you probably know who that one person is. But I will say this is the last year we're doing it. We're not doing it again. You know, between like just like I really thought like, hey, I'm gonna offer a great prize and I'm gonna like pick this up, and I think Coop was out there and discouraged Terrence Riley because Terrence Riley kept posting like Coop took this out of my. I don't know what happened between those two, but
yeah, but dude, that was always a Terrence Riley ploy, though.
I know.
He kind of goes towards the negative side, but
Terrence blames Coop.
It developed traffic.
He's like, Coop discouraged everyone. And I'm like, it's not his fault. He just got tired of it because, people got sick of it when he was doing it. And I said, I'll do it if you give me your blessing because I don't want to step on toes. And Coop's like, knock yourself out. And I said, okay. And no. It got attention. It didn't get the attention I was hoping it would get, but, whatever. So I think the internal discussion was we won't do it again. So this will be the first and final Airport Selfie Award that we're doing at Smokin Tabacco, and if someone else wants to pick it up, God bless you. I did it and it went okay, but I'm not doing it again. Not at $500. I was ambitious. I thought, hey, this will get people. No, but we still have that one to do, so keep an eye out. That probably will be the last one we do, just because the other ones are kind of not to be that way, but they're kind of a little bit more important. The airport selfie one's kind of more fun, so we'll probably save that one for last. But yeah, that's our news for the week. So don't forget to head over to smokintabacco.com for more on all of our awards and stuff. You can read all about it as they continue to trickle out. So, but anyway,
I see how this is going to play out because you're going to announce the airport selfie winner probably right before TPE, where Barbara and I will be the ones that will receive the positive feedback or the fallout from the results of that.
Yeah, so TPE.
Everybody's here in town.
That's true, and I'm glad you brought this up. So I'll not that it really matters, but I'll just let people know. So I won't be at TPE this year, but Kevin and Barbara will be there representing Smokin Tabacco. So Smokin Tabacco will be there, but I won't be there. So for those who are going to TPE, sorry, you're not going to see me. But so yeah, if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, Kevin and Barbara, you can find them on the trade show floor, and you can give them all your hate mail if you have some.
And fans of the show, anything that you want to see or anything you want us to dig up while we're at the show, message us through Facebook, and we'll do our best to get you the answers that you're looking for.
You can also email us. It's all of our emails are pretty easy. It's our first names at smokintabacco.com. And if you know how to spell smokintabacco.com, which I know how that sounds, but you'd be surprised. SMOKINTABACCO.com. You can shoot us an email there, or you can go to the contact us page on the website. But yeah, there's multiple ways. You can contact us and let us know what you want to see at TPE. What you want? Sorry to yawn. Yeah, what do you want to see? What do you want to see covered or asked about, or if you have questions for manufacturers you want Kevin to ask. Whatever it is, just let us know, and we'll. And same thing for PCA, which we'll cross that bridge a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, at any time you can always ask us, and like Kevin said, we'll get that. We'll look into that for you.
I was curious as to who was going to be releasing what for TPE, or what the number of show releases are going to be, and they're starting to trickle in. So
trickle's a good
word. That's actually, yes, there's still going to be some. So that makes for a interesting show.
For a week away. They're trickling. We've got 5?
Yeah, I don't really know what I expected with PCA being so close this year, but 5 is a good number. I expect to see it probably double prior to showtime.
I think there's people who are going to go because they were already committed. I think there's people who are going to go because they find that it's a different market of, business customers that they can appeal to, which makes sense to me. Don't get me wrong.
It's a completely different market than
But
PCA.
yeah.
It really is.
But there's also a lot of people who have been going to TPE the last couple of years who I know are not going. Because, they're going to save it for PCA, which is just under 2 months later. And it's like, why are you going to go to Vegas twice? Someone like Steve Saka, for example, like Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, as popular as it is, they're still not as big as, Drew Estate, Jay-Z Newman.
Right.
They only have so many cigars they can take orders for. So, why is Steve, if push comes to shove, he's not picking TPE over PCA. I know that. I know Steve, he's going to be like, no, we're going to PCA. He's going to wait. So, like, I know he won't be a TPE. There's a lot of people like him. In the small to small, medium-sized company range, no, they won't be a TPE. Especially this year, it doesn't make sense.
And I do see some at TPE that aren't going to be a PCA. So, I mean, that there is two sides to that coin. So
that's true. And that one's a little bit more strange to me, I guess. But I
think it's a financial.
That's
mark,
true.
Because it's a hell of a lot cheaper to come to TPE than it is to go to PCA for these guys.
That's true. And I know that for like smaller brands, that makes sense. But anyone that's medium or bigger, I'd be like, really? Do you hate the PCA that much? But no, it's interesting.
The boutique cigar area at PCA is a game changer in that regard, though.
Yeah, it's funny. We talk about, and we'll be getting into PCA in a couple of weeks when we get a little bit closer to it. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting show this year. It's earlier, new venue-ish. 3 of the 4 will be back, unless Davidoff decides to come back at the last minute, the final hour. They have, as far as I know, as of today, they have no plans on returning. We'll ask Eddie about it next week.
I don't see it happening.
Me either.
They will be a TPE, by the way, but they will not be a PCA.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll have to find another way to get Eddie the award. Someone already made the comment like, "Oh, you can't present that award at PCA." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." Well, I'll still get it to him.
Well, you just send it to me so I can give it to him next week. Is he going to be here? I would assume Davidoff's going to be here, so I would assume Eddie's going to be here.
I doubt he's going to be there because he agreed to come on the show, which is at the same time as the trade show. And I don't think he's going to do that if he's in Vegas. I don't think he's going to be there. I could be wrong, but he's scheduled to come on next week at 8 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 p.m. your time, which is the time that the show closes for the day.
Now, see, that would have been an interesting thing to get him live in studio here. If he is going to be here.
Yeah, that would have been tight. I didn't even think of that. I know he was in the Dominican. He was in the factory, and he was supposed to call me sometime this week when he got back. So I actually haven't talked to him about it, but I didn't even think of that. I'm like, yeah, TPE, Davidoff's going to be there, but I don't know. Something tells me he won't be there. But I could be wrong. Maybe he is, and I don't know. I have to touch base with him on that. But
if you need to discuss with him, if he is, and I mean, this is probably discussion for off the air, but if he is going to be here, that's something we should try and make happen.
Yeah, but I mean, we scheduled this quite a while ago, and we went over the schedule pretty diligently. I feel like if he was going to be a TP, that would have been an issue. So I don't think he's going to be there. That's what leads me to believe, because he most likely would have been like, "Oh, I'm at TP." Like, no. Mm-hmm. Which is fine, but no, he said he was fully available. So unless he made a mistake with his calendar, I don't think he's going to be there. But we'll find out. But that's next week's show, unless something changes. Eddie Guerra will be here. I'm very excited for you. Kevin probably won't be because he'll be on the trade show floor. Oops, excuse me.
We'll see if we can maybe get a couple live updates or post some video from the show over the 3 days of the show.
If you're in a good Wi-Fi spot, you could probably dial in, say hello. I don't know. We'll see. I won't hold you to it. But anyway, Kevin, I want to get back to you really quick on your rums that you were drinking. And did you finish any of them yet? I finished my first one. That's been gone.
Oh, the old Cuban's long gone, and this is actually my second pour of the Havana Club, and the Mojito is almost gone. I've kind of been bouncing back and forth. The Casa Fuente Mojito is heavenly,
Yeah.
but I've also only had a salad since I've been home from work, so I don't want to get overly buzzed because I do have to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. But I'm already losing that battle, so we might as well keep going.
But I will say that the Collioure was definitely the right choice for cigar.
Yeah. Yeah, this Perdomo Sungrown, the Habano Bourbon Barrel Aged, I mean, it's gone well with my, my sweeter, cocktail with the sweeter rum, with the Havana Club, just neat in the glass. It's worked very well through both, which are very different. The flavor with the cigar has been matched. There's nothing that I hate more than, hate's a strong word, dislike more than a cigar that doesn't pair well with a drink or whatever, because and anyone who's been doing this long enough knows. I mean, you just get such a contrast. It's just they conflict with each other, and it's like when you can sip on something and smoke on something, and it all just kind of tastes nice on your palate together. That's a good pairing. Once you start getting stuff fighting each other, and it's like, well, then you don't want it. You're like, well, I don't want the cigar because it's every time I have the rum, it just takes. This has been great throughout. It's been very versatile. The Sungrown was a great choice. It really was.
I will say that the Collioure does not pair the greatest with the Havana Club.
Interesting.
The rum actually maybe overruns it a little bit.
Okay.
Which is weird because this is supposed to be, full flavor, full body. I attribute it probably more medium full, probably right in the middle of that medium full range. So it's it's not as strong as advertised. I mean, these are also probably 4 years old, so they've aged a little bit. So I'm sure some of the strength is kind of backed out of it. So it'd be interesting to see these fresh to see how they would hold up to the stronger rum.
Yeah, that's true. I tell you, the Havana Club is good.
But they are perfect with the old Cuban or the Mojito.
Yeah, the Havana Club's, like I said, it's very different, but it is smooth, and it's nice, and it has a very nice, unique profile.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that is good.
If you like cognac, you'll like Havana Club.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's the right way to describe it. It's bolder, less sweet, but it's got enough sweetness on the end. To let it stand on its own. But yeah, I mean, that's Cuban rum for you. And there's others too. I mean, there are others that are not like that. That's just the particular one that I happen to grab. I have others, but the Seven Años is probably the one that I drink the most. That's what I grabbed. It's delicious. If you can get your hands on a bottle, I do recommend it. It can be a little tricky, but especially if you're traveling outside the U.S., if you can grab a bottle and bring it back, it's worth it. It's worth it. And it's not too expensive either. I believe, like, I think what Mitchell, if Mitchell's still here, he'll tell me, but I think I gave him, for 2 bottles and shipping, I think I gave him like $60, $70. So it's not like it's, like $100 bottle or anything like that. I mean, it's, pretty.
Well, that's the beauty of a lot of rums, though, is the really tasty stuff is not atrociously expensive as some of the bourbons or the scotches are.
It's true. That's true. The other thing we didn't talk about tonight, even though it's supposed to be a rum show, but we started getting into other spirits. One of the things I didn't really get into too much was tequila. Now, it's funny because I enjoy tequila a lot, and I enjoy the taste of tequila. But tequila just doesn't sit well with me. And I don't mean like I get sick. It always seems to give me a headache and wear me down when I drink it, which is unfortunate and it can be very acidic sometimes to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the taste. I love the taste of tequila. I love it. But it just never really sits well with me, and it's discouraged me from drinking it more. I still drink it here and there, but like a few years ago, I got into tequila. I found a lot of tequilas. I'm like, oh man, a lot of reposados and añejos, and there was some blancos. Like this, I found some really good stuff from so many different places. Like Corazon became a quick favorite of mine. There was a reposado, I think it's a reposado that's aged in the Weller barrels from Buffalo Trace. I still have like several bottles of that in my stash. Delicious. I made a lot of margaritas with it and some other cocktails, and I would drink it neat. Just great stuff. And I stopped drinking it so much because it wasn't sitting well with me, and I just always felt horrible after. And like I said, it wouldn't make me throw up or anything. I don't know. It didn't really sit with me well, and it's disappointing because I love it a lot. And now I have a bunch of tequila still that I don't drink as much as I'd like to. But someone will drink it. People will come over. It's all good stuff. But that's my stance on tequila. But this was a good show. This was fun. I'm glad we did this. This was nice to not have a guest and then just hang out, just drink. I definitely drank more than you did, I think.
I agree. What did I have? I had 2 cocktails and 2 pours. So.
Yeah, I had a pretty strong cocktail because I added rum to it. I put a good amount. Then I was like, I'm going to put a little more. And then I've been trying to be pretty sly about it, but I've had a couple of glasses of the Savannah Club 7 Años because I've been really enjoying it. And, I'm feeling it. And
one of the best pull drinks ever, passion fruit juice with rum.
I love passion fruit. I love passion fruit. You can't go wrong with passion fruit. It's so good. I've had it so many different ways. Like,
we actually had breakfast at a Hawaiian restaurant last weekend, and Barb got to try it for the first time. She goes, "Oh my God, that's good."
You had a where? At a what restaurant?
Hawaiian.
Which restaurant?
Zippy's.
You went to Zippy's?
We went to Zippy's.
You didn't tell me you went to Zippy's. How was it?
We went to Zippy's. It was amazing. Our off-road group had their anniversary party at Zippy's.
Because that just opened out there, didn't it?
Yeah, we had breakfast at Zippy's and went on a trail run that turned into an adventure, at least for Barb and I. But
I remember asking you about Zippy's when I saw that, Las Vegas gets the first Zippy's. I was like, oh, and I texted you and you were like, what the fuck is Zippy's? And I was like, you know about Zippy's? And now it's like the greatest thing now to you. And I'm like, yeah, I've been waiting to hear about it, and you didn't tell me.
We went and we went in and the parking lot was packed. I think a lot of it was due to our four-wheel drive club was there.
Yeah.
And we went in, they said, it's going to be 20 minutes to a half hour. And it literally took us like 3 minutes to get a table.
Oh, wow.
So it was good. And the food was served equally as quick. So great food, but that was an experience. And it's always fun for me, for Barb to experience something new.
Where is the Zippy's out there?
It's about 5 minutes from the house.
All right, so it's away from the strip then.
It's
a local
it's
joint
on the west
then.
Side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at Rainbow in the 215, so it's about 10 minutes from the strip.
Yeah.
But it was so good, and that was definitely the highlight of the day. Off-road run not so great.
This is more of an off-air thing, but I want to ask you now before I forget. Are you working on Thursday when I get to town, or Wednesday whenever I think it's Thursday I get to town? Are you working that day?
What, for PCA?
Yeah.
I'll be off.
All right, good, because we get in very early, and there's a lot of non-tourist trade show strip stuff that I want to do with you, and Zippy's might be on that list now. I don't know.
For sure.
We'll
definitely make sure to take you guys around.
There's some local things I want to do, and that might be the time to do it. So we'll see.
Full show, but that's in Vegas. make the trip out to Zippy's. It'll be worth your while. And
Mm.
that is a totally unbiased, unpaid advertising plug for Zippy's. Fucking good.
Yeah, I first heard about Zippies from Matt Unins on Follow the Money, which is a show on VSiN for sports betting. And they did a whole fast food episode, and they ranked all the fast food. And you've heard of that show. They do it at they record it at South Point, and
Yeah.
they did a whole show on fast food. And I remember he was like, "Oh, and then there's Zippies," and they were like, "What's Zippies?" And I was like, "Huh." And I remember there was a couple on there he mentioned that I had never heard of before, and that's where I first heard about it. And I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, like this place looks good." And then last year I saw the story. Oh, Las Vegas they're getting the first Zippies outside Hawaii, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to go there." Because if anybody
Well, when
likes
you walk
fast
into
food, it's
the
me.
restaurant, when you walk into the restaurant and 95% of the clientele is either Hawaiian or Asian, you know it's going to be good.
Oh yeah, yeah. Always read the room when you go to, depending on when it's a specific cuisine. Yeah, read the room. If those people are there, it's probably good. Because
And they have
they'll
the
know
regular
what
menu
good food
stuff.
is.
They have the regular menu stuff, and then they have daily menu items that change, obviously daily, that are based on the local fare in Hawaii.
Oh, daily? You don't say?
So there's always something new to try.
Yeah, Barbara made a
But-
good point. The staff too. Very true. Very true.
Yeah, the staff was outstanding. I got the zip pack plate, which was a piece of fried chicken, a piece of spam, a piece of fish, and a piece of steak, with with rice, with cilantro and something else mixed in with it. But on the plate was this big round yellow hard thing, just a slice, and I was like, "Huh, what's that?" So of course I didn't know what it was, so that was the first thing I ate, and it's like, "Holy shit, this is really good." So I asked the waitress, "Says what is this?" She goes, "It's a pickled radish." She goes,
No
"You want
shit.
more?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want more." So she brought me another plate with a couple more pieces on there, and it was outstanding. But the staff there was over the top.
Pickled radish.
Pickled radish.
I thought you were gonna say like pineapple, because like pineapple's like big in Hawaii. You
It was
said yellow.
unreal. It literally tasted. I mean, if you actually take one item that tastes like coleslaw, I guess would be probably the closest comparator that somebody could associate with without going crazy or outside the box. It literally tasted like you're eating coleslaw, and it was just one food item.
Huh. Yeah,
it was really good.
put that on my list. Places to go.
But yeah, when you come out, we will take you to Zippy's if you want to go to Zippy's. We will make time for a Zippy's run.
Zippies. Yeah, I've been wanting to go to Zippy's for a few years now, and now that there's one in the mainland, I have to go. Because I've looked into it, and I'm excited. But anyway, I think that's gonna do it for our show this week. We've been on here for almost 2 hours. This is a long show for the Smokin Tabacco show, and we still got. Well, you don't. You don't have 3 hours this weekend. I do with Coop and Mitchell. So, this is quite the night.
While you were enjoying Coop and Mitchell, Barb and I will be watching the Las Vegas Desert Dogs professional lacrosse team.
Yeah, I forgot that you guys are into lacrosse too, because you've been to a few other games before. I remember we've talked about it.
We're actually season ticket holders for the Desert Dogs, and it's actually really cool.
Oh, that reminds me. Not to like change the subject. It's kind of on theme, but that reminds me. So, we're a few weeks away from Las Vegas Super Bowl. Has it been as nightmarish as F1, or is it kind of more laid back?
For certain properties that are close to the stadium, it's been as nightmarish as F1, but as a whole, no, because F1 literally affected the whole town.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl is affecting just a small region of the strip.
Yeah, I remember, obviously talking to you and just following it on the news. The F1 thing seemed like it was kind of a nightmare. And the track, from the drivers, from what I read from the drivers didn't particularly love the track either. So I don't know, but as far as I know, it's still confirmed for 2024.
It is. We've got a 10-year contract. The interesting thing, I mean, I'm an F1 fan, and I did not have high expectations. And even though Max Verstappen won, the race as a whole was actually a very entertaining race and probably one of the better F1 races from last season. So there was a lot to be said leading up to it with the practice and with the water valve coming up and damaging the Ferrari and canceling practice on the first night. You take that out of the equation, it was actually a very successful weekend for them. And the race as a whole was it was a win. It was a win for F1. It was a win for for us here in Vegas. So very cool.
And I expect 2024 to be a little bit better. I mean, you learn a lot of things the first time around with anything, and I'm sure that they learned a lot. They'll make some changes, and I expect the next one to be probably a little bit better.
The one I'm really looking forward to is 2026 because that'll be the first season. They're all going to have new cars in 2026. So I think that's the F1. The F1 season as a whole is going to be dramatically different that year. Going to have a new team, some new drivers, and everybody's going to have a new car. So I think it's going to make a big difference for fans of the sport.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've been getting more and more into F1 the last couple of years, and I've been following it. And I remember when NASCAR went to the next gen car last year, it was kind of a big deal, and there was a lot of issues with that car, and it kind of made it interesting to watch because you watch the teams and the drivers adjust to just that, and everyone has the same problem because everyone has everyone's in the new car together. So it is interesting to watch. So F1 obviously much different racing, but the concept is the same. The teams and the strategy, and it throws a wrench into it. I think for the first few seasons, and then by the time you get it down and dialed in, you get running for a while, and then the new car comes along. So it's the nature of the sport.
For me, the F1 race here, like on a cool factor standpoint, the company I work for, we own the Welcome to Las Vegas sign. It's on permanent lease to Clark County, Nevada. But it was really cool to see the Welcome to Las Vegas sign on the side pod, not on the side pod, but actually on the bodywork of one of the cars with our company's logo on it.
Yeah.
So a company got advertised on international TV. So that was really cool to see because that was unexpected. As nobody from the company even knew that it was going to be on there. And lo and behold, they show a close-up of it, and there it is. And they actually even zoomed in on their logo. So that was neat.
Yeah, the Young Electric Sign Company.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know, also known as Yesco. They go back quite a ways. Very important company. If you've seen
102 years in the sign business.
Yeah. I've worked on some of their signs before too. It's kind of cool. But hey, listen, I'm looking at the time. We got to wrap this up. Kevin, we had a great fucking time.
We got on another tangent.
Yeah, we this was good. And someone who commented, I saw it somewhere. Kevin O'Connor, the Laid Back Show episode was fun. Great show. Yeah, we got to do more of these this year. We've gotten into this cycle of having a guest every week, and which is cool. But shows like this are fun too, and we've got to do more of these. And I've been trying to plan them that way. So,
and again, to our fans, if you have something that you want us to cover, or you have a topic that you want to see on the show, send us an email.
Absolutely.
We can definitely see if we can accommodate.
Yeah, Kevin, thank you for bringing that up. Write to us. Please, don't be shy. However you want to just write to us some way, shape, or form. It's 2024. You can reach us 100 different ways. Let us know. You got questions, comments, concerns, things you want to see on the show, things you want to see at the trade shows, cigars you want to see reviewed, opinions, stuff like that. Please, write to us. Let us know. We will get back to you. One of us will get back to you. You can write to any one of us. It doesn't have to be me. It can be Kevin. It can be Mitchell. It can be Nicole. Write to us. Write to us. It's always welcomed. And you know what? We'll probably read it off on the show if you read it to us. We've done it before, so
Most definitely.
yeah, we'll read your stuff on the show unless you ask us not to. But so that'll do it. That was good. I'm feeling good. I'm half in the bag. I'm ready for bed because I have to be up in 6.5 hours, so that'll be fun. Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Everywhere you can get your podcast, all the podcast platforms, as well as our YouTube channel, and on social media as well. Don't forget to visit smokintabacco.com for more news, reviews, and other updates from the cigar industry. All of our trade show coverage brought to you by Drew Estate once again this year. And we'll see you on Saturday night, the Spare Notes series. Me, Mitchell, Coop. Coop's finally back. It's been too long. I told him. I said, you're coming back this week. We need to see your face on the show. And we have quite a lot of things that we're going to talk about. We have a wide range of stuff. We have to get caught up because Coop hasn't been on in like 2 months. So there's a lot of things I know that we have talked to him about that we're going to talk about on the show. It's going to be a long show, so make sure you get a couple of cigars ready, a couple of drinks. Make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you're ready to go. It's going to be a long show Saturday night. Get ready. Buckle up. It'll be a good time. I hope to see you there. We'll see you then. Take care.
Have a good night.